Alright, welcome back to another video on building multi-purpose Laravel and Livewire application. And in this video, we'll be working on adding bulk actions features. So first of all, let me give you the demo of what we are going to build so that you will have some idea before we implement that features. So here we can select all these appointments on this page. Also, it is displaying selected 10 appointments, and we can perform bulk actions by clicking over here. So we can either delete all these selected appointments, or we can mark them as scheduled, or we can mark them as closed. So for this demo, let me unselect it, and then let me select these 3 appointments and let me mark them as closed, and we successfully mark them as closed, right? Also, we can go to schedule appointments over here, and then we can mark either all the appointments, or we can mark specific appointments, and then we can perform the bulk actions. So let's mark them as closed. Let me go to closed over here, and then let's delete these 3 appointments, right? Delete selected, and we deleted that appointments. Also, this is real time, we are not refreshing the page, and this is all done through Livewire. Also, throughout this video you will learn how to use Livewire computed property and then Livewire updated hooks as well. So let's get started building this feature. So first of all, let's add checkbox over here. So let me go to admin LTA, and then let's add this checkbox. So let's grab this code over here. Let's select this one, edit it HTML, and then let's go to list appointments.blade.php file, and let's go over here and let's paste that code. Let's indent it, and we added that, right? Okay, and we don't have that styling, so we need to add iCheck styling. So first of all, let me view the page source. Okay, and we will be using this plugin. So let me copy this code, and let's go to app.blade.php, which is the main layouts file, and over here let me paste it, and then let's do asset backend plugins. Okay, so now let's me refresh the page, and we see it. Perfect. So let's add that checkbox on all these items as well. So to do that, let's create the table head over here, table. Okay, and then over here let me paste the same thing. Okay, and we see it. Now let's modify this ID, and let's do appointment ID. Okay, and it is currently checked. Okay, looks good. Fine. So now let's add the button over here for bulk actions. So to do that, let me go to UI elements, buttons, and let me go to the end, and let's grab this code, button group. Okay, so edit as HTML, and then we'll be displaying that button over here. So let me go to the top, over here, okay, and it is displayed. Let's give it margin left of 2, okay, and let's rename it to bulk actions, and then let's change this as well. So over here let's do delete selected, and then mark as scheduled and mark as closed, and we don't need this. Okay, fine. And over here we'll be displaying the text called selected to span over here, and then selected, let's say 10 appointments. Okay, so let's display this over here, and fine. Also let's give the margin left of 2 as well, and then fine, we completed the UI part. So now let's start selecting these items. So let's make this workable first. Okay, so to do that, let's do wire model over here. Let's give it a value of appointment ID, and then let's do wire model to selected rows. Okay, let's define that property on our list appointments component class, and over here let's define that public property called selected rows, and let's make it as empty array. Okay, and then let's remove that selected as well. Select, okay, and let me do die and dump over here. Instead of die and dump, let's just dump to see the selected items. So let me go over here up to table, and let's do dump, and then let me dump selected rows, and currently it is empty. So if I check this one, and we see it, right, and if I uncheck it, it is gone. So see how cool this is. So we already got the selected rows ID, right? So now we can perform the actions called mark as scheduled and then mark as closed, either delete selected as well. So before that, we can let's work on this one as well. We need to select this, and then we need to select all the appointments over here as well. So let's work on that part. So to do that, let's do wire model over here, over there as well. So let me go to the top, and then let's find that checkbox over here. So let's do wire model to, let's say, select page rows. Okay, so now let's create this public property on our component class. Let's define that public property, and let's make this as false by default. Okay, so it is currently false, and if we make this to true, then it will got select, right? It will got checked. Okay, so we can perform the updated hook on this property. So to do that, we need to define a method with updated prefix, and then the property name, and the property name is select page rows, and then we will do select page rows. Okay, so if I die and dump over here and then refresh the page, and if I checked over here and we are calling this, we are going to this method, we are calling this method, right? And this is updated hooks in Livewire. So if we make any change over here, we will get called to this method, and then we can perform any actions over here. So here we need to do, by clicking this checkbox, we need to select all these checkbox, right? So let's perform the logic over here. So to do that, let's check the, we can also receive the value from here as well. So let me die and dump this value to show you. Okay, currently we are getting true because it is checked, and if we unchecked it, we are getting false, right? So let's do if there is a value first. If there is value, then this selected rows equals to, now we need to get the appointments, right? We need to get the appointments on this page, So here comes, we need to use computer property. So now let's define the computer property, and then to define the computer property we need to do get and the property name, let's say appointments, and then with property at the end. Okay, so if I die and dump here, and we can call this using this and then appointments, right? So let me refresh the page and show you. If I click over here and we get call this method, and this is the appointments is the computer property, right? And the use of computer properties, we don't need to run this query multiple times on every request. So we can put this code on our computer property, we can access it from here as well, and then on our view as well. So let me remove this from here, and then let's use this computer property called this appointments. Okay, so and then let me paste the code over here and then return it. Now we can get these, all these appointments, right? So let me do die and dump these appointments, refresh it, and we got all these appointments on the page, which is perfect. So now we need to map over these appointments. Before that, let's plug these ID, log the ID from these appointments, and then see what we will get. Let me die and dump this selected rows. If I select all, we get those items with those IDs of these appointments, right? But if I click over here, we get this ID in a string, and then if I click over here, we get IDs in as integer. So we need to make the same. So to do that, we need to map over each and then convert that ID into string, so that you will not have the issue later. So now let's map every ID. So let's call the map and then the closure, or map every ID and return that as a string, right? And if we check this and we get that as a string, and if I checked over here, we get the same as a string, right? Which is nice. And if there is not a value, if we don't have the value as true, then we will reset the selected rows. This reset, and we can pass as arrays selected rows, and then let's reset select page rows as well, and let me remove it. And now if I select this one, if I checked over here, we see the checked IDs, and if I click over here we get that IDs, and we are selecting every items, every appointments on this page, which is perfect. So we added this functionality, right? So now the remaining thing is just to perform the bulk actions like delete selected, mark as scheduled, or mark as closed. So let's do that. So here first of all let's do delete selected. Okay, so let me go to list appointments.blade.php file, and then let me search for delete selected, and over here let's do wire click and then prevent the default actions, and let's call the method called delete selected rows. Okay, so let's define this method in our class over here. So let me define it over here, and let's type them here. And if I select this and then do delete selected, and we are calling that method. Okay, so now the thing remaining is just to delete the selected rows. So let's do appointment wherein ID is this selected rows, wherein ID is this selected rows, and then perform the delete action on every IDs we got in the selected rows, right? And after deleting, let's dispatch these events so that we'll show that deleted message. So this dispatch browse event called deleted, and let's pass the message called all selected appointment were deleted. Okay, so now let's try this. Let me select these two appointment and then perform delete selected, and it is deleted, which is good. But we are still showing, we are not clearing that property that selected a rows array, right? So let's clear that. This reset, and we want to reset selected rows, selected page rows, as well as selected rows. Okay, now let me try one more time. Delete selected, and it is empty over here as well. So far so good. And then if we click over here, we are not displaying this number, so let's make this workable. Let me go to list appointments, and then over here let's count selected rows, and it is saying call to undefined function count, and we misspell it, and it is saying showing selected 0 appointments, and if we select, we got it. But we don't want to show this over here unless we selected any appointments. So let's put this inside of conditional. So if there is any selected rows, then we will display this. Okay, currently we don't see that, but if we have any selected rows, we see it, which is nice. and if I select this particular one appointment, it is currently saying selected one appointments in plural, so let's make that a singular if there is one. So to do that, let's do string plural appointment, and we want to make this plural based on this count, so need to do count selected rows. Okay, so now if I select one and it is saying appointment, if I select two it is saying appointments. This is good. So now let's perform the bulk actions on mark as scheduled. Okay, so over here let's do wire click and prevent the default action, and then let's call the method called mark all as scheduled. Same over here, let me copy it, mark all is closed. Perfect. So now let's define these methods. Let me define over here mark all is scheduled and then mark all is closed. Okay, so now over here let's do appointment where in id is this selected rows, and then we will update status to scheduled, right? Scheduled, and then we'll dispatch these browser event, and then we will reset that selected rows property as well as select page rows as well. Okay, so over here let's do update it, and if I click over here, let's say if I click over here and then let's perform the bulk action mark is scheduled, and it is saying update must be type array, right? So what we did, we need to pass this array, so we need to do status is scheduled. So let's try one more time. Mark is closed, and it is not working because we haven't performed these, we haven't written the logic for close, right? So let me select this one and then let me mark as scheduled, and we marked as scheduled, but we don't see that message, those notifications. So let me go to main app.blade.php and let's listen for that event called updated, right? Updated, and we will display that message. And then let me select this one, and then let's do a mark as scheduled, and we did it. Perfect. Let's do the same for mark as closed as well. Over here let me paste it, and we'll update the status to closed, and then all selected appointments, let's change this message. Appointments marked as scheduled, and then appointments marked as closed. Okay, now let's close this appointment, mark as closed, and we closed it, and we see this beautiful notification over here as well. So now let me go to list appointments and then remove that thumb part over here, and let me refresh the page, and let's try one more time everything. So if I click on appointments, we see this appointment is scheduled. So let's mark, currently we have closed as 6 appointments, so let's do marked as closed, and we marked as closed, right? And it is updated over here as well. So in schedule we don't have any appointments, so for now let's do these 3. Let's change this status from closed to back to schedule as well, and we see these 3 schedule appointments. Let's try deleting every appointments from this page. Currently selected 3 appointments, and delete selected, and we deleted it. So this much for this video. I hope you like this video, so don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel, as I will be uploading the videos like this. Till then, have a great time, and I will see you in the next video.